My name is Sandra being Todd from Dallas, Texas area, and we'd like to welcome you to what we hope will be a chance for those of you who are not Baha'is to learn something about our faith. How many of you in this room, maybe, this is the first time you've heard about the Baha'i faith? Okay. We're going to start with a prayer that's going to be sung by Mary Davis. Mary is a singer-songwriter from Asheville, North Carolina.
Many a chill heart, oh my God, set ablaze by the fire of thy cause, and many a slumber hath been wakened by the sweetness of thy voice. How many are the strangers who have sought shelter beneath the shadow of the tree of thy oneness, and how numerous the thirsty ones who have panted after the fountain of thy living waters in my days. Blessed is he towards thee, and hasted to attain the day spring of the lights of thy face. Blessed is he who with all his affection hath turned to the dawning place of thy revelation and the fountain of thine inspiration. Blessed is he who hath expended in thy path what thou didst bestow upon him through thy bounty and favor. Blessed is he who in his sore longing after thee hath cast away all else except thyself. Blessed is he who hath enjoyed intimate communion with thee, and rid himself of all attachment to anyone save thee. I beseech thee, O my Lord, by him who is thy name, who through the power of thy sovereignty and might hath risen above the horizon of his prison, to ordain for everyone what becometh thee, and beseemeth thine exaltation. Thy might in truth is equal to all things.
The words that Mary just sang come from the Baha'i writings, and she's set them very beautifully to music. You're going to be hearing from a number of performers tonight, all of whom are members of the Baha'i faith, and there will be a brief talk about the Baha'i faith by Tom Tommy Kavelin and Billie Crofts. But before that happens, we'd like for Tommy to sing 2 songs. Tommy is, he lives in Puerto Rico, and he's the host of a Spanish TV series called Crece con Nosotros. Okay? Say it.
Crece con nosotros.
Crece con nosotros. Thank you, thank you. He's also a singer-songwriter, and professionally he works as a federal court interpreter, and he's a second-generation Baha'i. And we'd like for you to welcome him to sing to us.
What's the English translation?
Crece con nosotros means grow with us. I was really thrilled this afternoon when I overheard Garni say that there was this wonderful young Baha'i songwriter in California who wanted to be here and couldn't be here, named Paul Parrish, because the 2 tracks that I'm going to sing to tonight are Paul Parrish songs. And the first one, I wish you knew Paul, but I think after you hear the song, you will know him because his radiant spirit is reflected, and his innocence is reflected in this song. It's called Song for a Young Girl. Very well, keep in touch. May your life burn too much till you're burning like a starry sky. Just one wish, say goodbye. May your wings fly too high till in time you can touch the sky. Although the oceans may be wider, and though the mountains may last longer, not even heaven will burn bright. You're not leaving, you're only changing. Take good care, Godspeed you all. May your heart love too long, till in love you can lose your way. As I sing this song for you, may your dreams come shining through, till in shining they can light your way. Although the oceans may be bright and dark, and though those mountains they may last longer, not even heaven will burn bright. You're not leaving, you're only changing. Fare thee well, take good care. May your light burn too much till you're burning like a starry sky. Till you're burning like a starry sky. Till you're burning like a starry sky. Keep in touch, fare thee well, Godspeed you all. This next song is the version in Spanish that I wrote for it, and it's called Violin. And it's a love song, but I like to think of it in the tradition like of the poetry of Omar Khayyam, where it was romantic poetry, but it had a mystical undertone. this song talks about the fact that if I have to live without your love, they can steal the sun from the beach, they can steal the seashells from the sea, I don't care if there's no perfume from the garden, or if the violin doesn't sing, and if the dancer doesn't dance, I don't care. For me, without your love, there is nothing. So to me, my life without the love of Baha'u'llah would be nothing. So that's the way I like to think of it when I sing it. So it's called Violin.
That's our new Kavelin.
And Gwendolyn's going to play with me.
Just a little presence. He's got his whole orchestra here. Coming on for the ride.
De la playa y del sol y del mar el caracol, de mi pecho arranca el corazón, mi alma, mi emoción. No me inspira más la flor, ni el canto del amor. Ya no siento la felicidad, no siento ni el dolor. Yo no quiero persistir en la farsa de vivir, imitando una comedia sin tu amor, sin ti, sin ti. Y si no canto el violín, ya no danza el bailarín. Si el perfume del jardín no sopla más, no importa para mí. Si es que de vivir sin ti, sin tu amor, no hay nada para mí. Nada.
Tell you a little something about the cellist who's been playing. He played the introduction when you all were coming in and got you all singing along with her. Her name is Gwendolyn Marie Watson, and she's a professional. She does this for a living. This is her life. She's a teacher of improvisation and creativity and plays the cello. She's been playing as an accompanist for dancers, for professional dancers who would dance for hours and hours and hours on end while she played. And she's also been my roommate for the last couple of days. And my friend, she's very, very special. She's been a Baha'i for 2.5 years and is really an inspiration to me because of her depth of understanding of the writings and the depth of her devotion. But I'd like for you to applaud her for the music that she played as you were coming in. We have something special for you. We're going to have a brief introduction to the Baha'i Faith in just a minute. But first, we have a reading from a poet named Roger White. There are 3 readers, Mark Bloch, Christina Schmitz, and Barbara Talley, who is also a poet in her own right. Mark lives here in this is Nashville. Mark lives right here in Nashville, folks, and he sells insurance, and he's an advisor on financial matters. He also acts in community theater, and he's been in Baha'i for 26 years. Barbara Talley who is one of the readers, who has on a hat with a gold band. She's a mother of 5, ages 6 to 24 years, and she's written poetry all her life herself. And you're going to hear one of her poems after the introductory talk. She has her own computer business, and she does diversity training with government clients. And she's been a Baha'i for about 24 years. Christina is a relatively new Baha'i. She's a language teacher in Memphis. She drove here to come to this conference, and she's been a Baha'i for a year and a half. And I'd like for the 3 of them to come up. The name of the poem is very long. It's Settling the Score with Mr. Ogden Nash for the 7 Spiritual Ages of Mrs. Marmaduke Moore, and thereby achieving, if not a better verse, at least a longer title.
You know, the Billie and others who speak Setswana, they should get along, but they don't want to. The Afrikaner and the Osa are not drawing any closer.
The French and the Germans hate the Dutch, who don't like anybody much. The British view it quite reprehensible. They find all others incomprehensible. Their empire fell that fatal night. God proved not Anglican nor white.
They don't like each other, them's the grim facts. It's a matter of heiches and syntax. Cockneys don't know a spondy from a dactyl. Neither do I, as a matter of fact. The Irish idea is even easier. The likes of them, sure, we're superior.
And no doubt, amid the Arctic snow, someone hates the Eskimo. Pity him in his most important span. Only the walrus to feel more important than? The Congo pygmies, deeply low by Africans more fully clothed. So spit in your eye is the loud retort. Hard for the pygmy, he's so short.
Canada's a hate-free nation, but just don't mention miscegenation. For white men's standards, one preserves by putting Indians on reserves. Americans disregard all priorities, democratically mistreating all minorities. Some think the Vietnamese are nice, though it's rather a case of let them eat rice.
And there are those who have an aversion to anyone speaking Persian. No doubt one day a foe will sunder them, pulling their carpets right from under them. Persian calligraphy gives Arabs the giggles, they much preferring their own strange squiggles.
And the Iroquois and Navajo hate lots of folks they don't even know. While Polynesians, with which little rhymes, say it's best if you're like Heinz. Swedes and Finns and other Caucasians suffer each other and loathe all Asians.
Now historically, Brahmins detest the untouchable, which some find rather much too muchable. Those whose script is Sinhalese quite detest the Japanese, who in turn avoid the sainted Laplander, though not acquainted.
Samoans feel if you meet a Papuan, it's almost a cinch it'll be your ruin. While Papuans say if you meet a Samoan, he's bound to hit you, at least for a loan.
And time-honored tongues are declared now extraneous to the woe of the Sard in the Alsace-Lorrainians, that singly, dimly view the Haida and other groups they can abide of.
Now some feel the Negro freedom fighter could come to dine if he were only lighter. One view it said there's no appeal from, whites exist for blacks to steal from.
Yellow hates brown, and in addition, both deplore the beige Mauritian. Israelis love all people, though, ask the Arabs, they should know. But Gentile heathens they eschew, which seems the kosher thing to do, their theory being, if you can't buy it, that God prescribed the Jewish diet.
While Orientals think themselves most pious because he designed their eyes on the bias. In Latin climes, the noble Quechua dislike the Spanish, you can bet you are.
Loving the Russian is no longer vogue. Once hailed a hero, now seen as rogue. The problem, one gathers, is largely political, allegiances being essentially cyclical.
Well, for a trustworthy guide on whom to vent pique, consult current issues of Newsweek. Or write a bestseller called, let's say, Whom to Snub on $5 a Day.
Mention the British to the Buganda, and in the hospital you may land her. Campbell's manners are highly reproachable. They want to know if you're parboiled or coachable. If asked to dine, think twice, or then you may find yourself on tomorrow's menu. Their customs being so detestable, one can only hope to prove indigestible. They should concentrate on erudition and not so much on deglutition.
We race to the planets to spread racial blight. Who's going to be the first anti-Venusianite?
All together, the world's a mess. It's rife and tension. It's either stress. Called into being, a strange fate awaits you. The moment you're born, somebody hates you. Now, none can impersonate Ogden Nash, but somebody had to settle his hash. His skill's a fact over which I'm not wrangling. None left participles more amusingly dangling.
And though the result may be deplorable, it brings us directly, at last, to the morable. And if morals are something you can't endure, reflect on the fate of Mrs. Marmaduke Moore. Dare one pay heed to the heavenly call?
Become a Baha'i
and love them all.
And now I'll have a short introduction to the Baha'i faith by Mr. Tommy Kavelin and Ms. Billie Crofts. Correct?
This light.
Yeah, can you turn that on? See everybody. Do you have to have it for some reason?
We see you better.
Oh, we still turn the other
We
lights
can't
on.
see you.
Turn the house
Turn the other house lights on.
And that's real important for me
Back there.
anyway to see.
There you go.
No more?
No. Why don't we just use these two mics? Is that all right?
Go,
Does that work?
Let's hand hold them.
I'm gonna let you do your thing,
What do you mean?
and I'm gonna do mine. If I don't wanna hold my mic, I don't have to because I've grown up and pay my own bills.
It's always quite a challenge to talk about the Baha'i faith in a short time because it's a vast subject and it's something we're very excited about and we love it and we have to control ourselves to keep it short. And I think of the image of bringing a bucket of salt water from the ocean to someone who's never seen the ocean and saying, well, this is the ocean, this is what it looks like, and this is what it smells like, this is what it feels like, but they cannot know the majesty, the grandeur, the beauty, the sunsets, the power of the waves, the storm. They can't know these things. And so we invite you to further investigate this ocean of the Baha'i faith after tonight, because we're just going to give you a little sample in a bucket. And I thought about something to open with.
The sample that we're giving is to Baha'i, so let's make our samples brilliant, shall we?
Billie, were you at the Merida conference in '77?
No.
Was anybody here at the Merida conference in '77? I met my wife there. Well, there was this wonderful African Baha'i there named Enoch Olinga. And he told a joke that I have never forgotten. And lately, I've been thinking about it more than usual because of the current situation in the world with everything that's going on. All of these changes and all of the trauma that the planet seems to be going through lately. And he tells a story of this little African villager, young man who was stumbling through the village square, out of his mind drunk, And the village priest was crossing the square and saw him. He said, "Now listen, son, you are really a bit in your cups. I think you'd better be going on home. And just, you walk home and God will go with you." So he's walking home and he's going down the jungle path, and he stumbles on this branch and falls flat on his face in the mud. So he picks himself up, brushes himself off. He says, "If you want to go with me, it is all right, but don't push." Now, why have I been thinking about this joke?
Bail yourself out with his buttons.
I think that society's general attitude toward God is, you can be in the picture if you want, but don't push. Don't interfere with my lifestyle, because if I don't like things the way you're setting them up, I'll just find a religion that suits my lifestyle. And everything will be comfortable. So we have a planet on which it seems a lot of people have made a lot of comfortable accommodations with God. For some of them it means that he's completely out of the picture. And in some it means he's in the picture, but don't interfere, don't intervene in my life. And what Baha'is are proclaiming to the world is that God has intervened in history once more, as he did 2,000 years ago. That in the middle of the last century, God intervened in history by coming down to earth once more and manifesting himself in a historical person who lived and breathed and walked on the earth and was, in the Baha'i terminology, a manifestation of God, which means a being who manifests the divine as Christ did. For Baha'is, Christ is a manifestation of God. And Billie's going to explain this further, aren't you?
No.
No.
I don't know about me explaining the manifestation of God at this point in my life, but since you told the joke, you see, you have to understand the dynamic between me and Tommy. I know that Tommy is my brother. I know that somewhere in the world, some children must have been confused at birth, because this is truly my brother.
We do go back a little.
Yeah, we go back a little bit. Yes, he actually gave me, he stood for my father when I married 24 years ago.
And when I married, it was in your home.
Yes, so we're very close friends since teenagehood, and so since he told a joke. Actually, let me just say this. I have never prepared a Baha'i talk in my life. I speak extemporaneously, and so nothing terrifies me about giving a Baha'i fireside. I lost that terror 5 years into my Baha'i life, when I would completely make a fool out of myself over and over and over. And as a teenager, I would lay in bed with my eyes closed after reading about Tahirih and Getzinger. And in LA, or I went to Hollywood High School. And if my hair was longer, I would have said I went to Hollywood High School, but it's short now. There is nothing you do in Hollywood without drama. Big time. You don't order a Coke. You don't order a salad without drama. There becomes a personal relationship between you and that waitress. That is the way we are in Hollywood. So when I became a Baha'i, because I believed in progressive revelation, I believed that there was no way I could ever become a Baha'i without first becoming a Baha'i. And as a believer in progressive revelation, I was a Baha'i for about 4 months, and I was very resentful when I would go to firesides and hear the Baha'i speaker say Baha'u'llah this, Baha'u'llah that, Baha'u'llah this, Baha'u'llah that, and I was 17 years old, and I'm thinking, they didn't even shoot him. You know, 750 people shot the daylights out of the Bab, who was, I was Catholic. So to me, the Bab was Christ, okay? I simply transferred my Mary Magdalene martyr kind of drama that I had for Christ into my Tahare Lua Getzinger drama into the Bob. So I became a Bobby. What I realized then after the terror and horror of trying to speak, because I wanted to, you know, like when the prayer says, and let my voice be raised in great assemblage, that had to be me. I had to do that. But every time I tried it, it was the most humiliating, degrading experience of my life. Because I got through 20 seconds. And my mind went blank, I would feel faint, the heat flashes would come, and all the way home in the car, I would say to God, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? So finally, after 5 years, well, you see, the first year I lost my entire reputation. No one not only wanted me to speak at their fireside, they did not want me present at their fireside. It reminded me of Tootsie, you know, when Michael said, you can't tell me I can't get a job acting in New York. And the director says, no, New York is too limited. You can't get a job anywhere in the world. That's the way I felt as I would begin to call, because I lived in Hollywood, I began to call San Diego, Long Beach. Hi, this is Billie. Oh, you know, I needed to learn this thing. I think my long story short is because we are all Baha'is here tonight. I consider people that come that have not heard about the faith non-Baha'is. I consider myself, after 30 years, a seeker. So when we say in the beginning of a fireside, are there any seekers? That to me is too limiting. I thought at 17, when I became a Baha'i, after leaving Catholicism, that this religion was a cinch. I was not subject to hell or mortal sins. I did not know that standing here after 30 years of a Baha'i, I could be tested and provoked 10 minutes before I was going to stand up here and speak to you. You see, I haven't even gone anywhere yet, if I can be provoked 10 minutes. And I'm sitting there in the audience thinking, how am I going to get up there and put on my pretty Allahu Akbar face? And we all have gone through that, haven't we, as Baha'is? In cars, in our relationship with our husbands, in our relationship with our sisters, with our brothers, with our assembly members, with each other, with just a Baha'i that just simply, it's not that they do anything wrong, they just push our button. And that happened to me right before I was supposed to get up here. And there are so many things I realize that I want to share with you, my fellow Baha'i brothers and sisters, is that my sweetest, dearest friend in the world, Mary Kay Radford, who I love with all of my heart, she said something to me, and I don't know if she remembers it, a couple of years ago, sitting around her kitchen table, we would sit there and eat 8 hours. Laugh and cry, eat, laugh and cry, eat. Laugh and cry, get candy, laugh and cry, eat. And she said, Billie, you are such a courageous person that I admire that quality so much in you, that you are a courageous person. And I am standing here in front of you telling you that each one of us is a complete paradox. I am a courageous person, but I am eaten up with fear. How can that be? I am saved by Baha'u'llah. I am healed by his healing message, and I stand here before you riddled with afflictions. Oftentimes, we look at each other as Baha'is. Oh, I gotta get off that for a minute. Is this boring?
No.
Are you sure? Okay.
That's your sister's, doesn't count.
Because we all are Baha'is, you know, and this is a sharing experience. Is that
I'm going to be humiliated if we're not all Baha'is. You keep saying that. I hope you're right.
Are we all Baha'is?
We have 3 guests that just walked in the door. I'm kidding.
We all, because if 3 new guests just walked in, I'm going to have to take Mary Kay.
Well, I don't waste my time with seekers, so you take over. I mean, with Baha'is, you take over. What am I going to
to say to you people?
If 3 new seekers just walked in, I was going to take Mary Kay out into one of those other rooms to be my therapist. I was going to say, come with me. But like the story of Joe, and this is how we have to look at each other. When we are being tested, it's for many reasons. We can be being punished by God. We can be in a moment of testing. There are many reasons why we become afflicted. And when we see a Baha'i way up here one minute, and then way down there the next, we have it in our mind that they're being punished when they are not being punished. Perhaps all of the attention of God and His love is on them. And when we look at each other as Baha'is in those low moments, we must celebrate those tests with each other. And we must cheer each other on. And when I am in pain, you are to be my assistants, not my judge. Not the, can you believe she lost everything? Can you imagine what she must have done? This is what we oftentimes do to each other. Instead of, what a capacity this person must have.
Oh, don't take him out, he's beautiful.
If you don't mind. No, I don't mind. Just, yes? That's all right. That's okay. I think because I do speak extemporaneously and I knew that we were all here together and that you are my brothers and sisters, that if one soul has pain or test, then it is the obligation of each other to rally around that soul to ensure victory, not to ensure their failure. If you think I'm going to fail and I feel that vibration, then I know I haven't a shot. The closer we get to the light, the more severe the tests. So I'm gonna...
You know, I normally don't, I don't address Baha'is, I just address seekers, so, and I don't feel at all that it's appropriate or adequate, that I'm adequate to be addressing Baha'is, but since I did just come back from pilgrimage, some things happened that I wanted to mention that I think are germane to the discussion this afternoon about what it feels like when we have that unity and we feel that ecstasy and that being, you know how you fall in love with the friends and you don't want to separate, and it's that sort of magic feeling that's more than the love you have for family even. Because the love you have for family, you know that was just in the cards. Nobody had anything to do with that. But our Baha'i family, all of this, all the people in this room are here by their own volition, by an act of volition, by a decision that they made, by a step that they took. And this is where what happened in Haifa or in Baha'i has to do with what I wanted to share with you. We were out going to Baha'i, but it wasn't part of the schedule. It was one of those mornings that were free. So my wife and I and the kids and some other friends, we rented one of these jitney type taxis, and they drove us out to Baha'i, and the taxi driver, because that's what he's used to, dropped us off at the tourist gate. Have you all ever seen where the tourist gate is? It's about a mile away from the Millie Collins gate. It's the longest walkway I've ever seen. What?
That's what he's supposed to do.
I know. But in any event, we wound up looking at these ice cream vendors and hot dog trucks and all this stuff that people are making their living now on tourists coming to Baha'i. And so there was this enormous number of tourists going in and coming out and walking along this path. So we few pilgrims joined the tourists and walked with them. And you couldn't see any difference between us. We all looked the same. I believe they were Israelis. They weren't from outside of Israel, but we walked the whole dusty, long path surrounded by those cypress trees on either side, and we finally got to where the circle goes around, you know, and the Haramiaktas begins, and the Collins Gate. And the tourists were being guided by whoever was guiding them. And as they approached this area where the Millie Collins Gate, they went left, and to go up those stairs, up to those terraces that the Guardian built so you could see what it looked like from up there. And we kept going forward. The Millie Collins Gate was closed, but there was a little gate there with a doorknob, and the guard was there. And we said, we're Baha'is. And he went like this. Just like this. And we opened the door, or he opened the door for us, yes. And we stepped in to the sacred precincts. And a lot of people who were walking this way turned and said, wait a second, what is this? What's going on? And the guard said, they're Baha'is. And as we stepped through the gate, to me it was the most perfect metaphor. Because Baha'u'llah says, take one step, and with the next enter paradise. The step that we had taken was, we embraced Baha'u'llah's cause. We are willing to call ourselves Baha'is. We made that decision. Whatever else we've ever done in our lives, whatever mistakes we've committed, and in some cases, the mistakes are pretty terrible, but whatever we've done, we took that step.
And I've got pictures of some of yours.
Yeah.
I only want to just, you know.
No, I will not. You are not going to make me lose my dignity tonight. So, the point, do you understand? Now, what am I getting at? Friends, if we could always remember how precious we are in the eyes of Baha'u'llah, how much he loves us. You know, we were told that the pilgrims are the lifeblood for the house of justice. We bring this fresh oxygen in from the world, and we stimulate the world center. The pilgrims are the life of the world center. And we were also told that in Haifa and Baji, Baha'u'llah pampers his pilgrims. Now you know as well as I do that any Baha'i that can manage to scrounge the money together can be a pilgrim. There's no other, you just have to get there. You know, other than that, we're just Baha'is. And he pampers us because he loves us. And, you know, I can't quote Abdul Baha, but if we could just remember how incredibly precious we are in his sight, this would, no matter what the friends do, no matter how many Baha'is are attest to us, or how much we just, you know what I'm talking about. You can't like everybody in the faith, and Lord knows it's hard enough to even love them in that cosmic kind of way that we talk about, but that's what I'm talking about. If we keep that perspective, I just think it makes it so much easier to keep that special moment that, as the boy said, if only it didn't come and go, to keep it longer and build it up. And that's really basically what I wanted to share.
And in closing, I would like to say, 20 or 30 minutes to look for the antidote. I'm kidding. Is that I'm a very visual person. When I read something, I have to form some kind of visual aid. And when I read that we are children of the half-light, that is what I am. I don't have a shot of ever being that child of the full light, in the fullness of time. I am in the half-light. And when I think sometimes in bed, you know, when I was a child, I had to keep the closet doors closed, because if a little light from the hall would shine in the bedroom, that blouse could look like a headless monster to me and terrify me. My eyes, even now, I have to have like a little night thing on. And so my eyes must be accustomed to the dimness of that light, but where I can still make out forms. so that I don't feel so alone in that dark room. Spiritually, as a child of the half-light, I only see forms. And sometimes, because my vision is impaired, those forms are a little distorted. My perception can be distorted until the brightness of that light comes in and clarifies it for me. Oftentimes, those are my moments of weakness and vulnerability spiritually, and yours. And if we all know that we are children of the half-light, and what we do see, we don't have the full and complete clear picture, and we know Abdu'l-Baha says that light brings chaos and confusion. Nothing else but chaos and confusion, because it is that light that shows us where the mess is that we have to begin to clean up. Tommy opened with a story, a very cute, precious story, and I've got so many in the faith that I just love. And this one that I love so much, and if you've heard it, just bear with me and nod and laugh like you haven't heard it, to appease me, you know? And that is the gardener, one of the original gardeners at Baha'i in Haifa. And the garden, Abdu'l-Baha wanted it duplicated like the garden in Baghdad. And Baha'u'llah loved this garden in Baghdad so much that Abdu'l-Baha had purchased a place to beautify. But naturally it had tumbleweeds, and I mean, you really had to have an imagination to see that this was going to be a garden. So this Baha'i was offered the bounty and privilege of beautifying this garden for Baha'u'llah. And at the end of this beautification period, when Baha'u'llah was going to be brought to this garden, Abdu'l-Baha first checked it out, made sure it was appropriate to bring a Baha'u'llah. It was magnificent. And the master said to the gardener, "You and God have done such a magnificent job on this garden." And the gardener said, "Me and God? I did the garden." And Abdu'l-Baha said, "No, it was you and God." He says, "Wait a second, you should have seen the garden when only God was taking care of it." Which I absolutely love. So that's like, when does God do or whatever? He allows us the talent and the brilliance and the genius that we will unfold whatever it is we are. But anyway, I have nothing else to say except that I love you all very, very much. And I was so pleased because this conference I did come to as a seeker, and I gleaned a great deal from it. And thank you.
I don't remember going to a better conference. I really love this. It's been wonderful.
But I haven't, where's the, is the program now the tape?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We have a poem written by Talley from Washington, D.C. I want to thank Tommy and Billie for sharing with us and being so flexible to adjust what they had planned to say to accommodate this particular audience. Barbara?
We all have to be flexible here. They asked for a particular poem, but with the mood of it, I felt like doing a different one, so I am. I'm learning from Billie. I want to just read something, and it won't take long. The conditions surrounding the family surround the nation. The happenings in the family are the happenings in the nation, in the life of the nation. If love and agreement are manifest in a single family, that family will advance, become illumined and spiritual. And the integrity of the family bond must be constantly considered, and the rights of the individual members must not be transgressed. The poem that I'd like to share has to do with the equality of women. And as a mother and a teacher in the Baha'i faith and a businesswoman, I've kind of gained labels like superwoman or whatever. And that's because I'm doing a lot, but on the other hand, it's like it's a big burden sometimes. And so in my moments, as I told you, I use my poetry as kind of therapy, so I have this whole line of Superwoman poems, and so I'll go ahead and share it with you. Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. Well, I'll just say it from now, because I didn't bring the other page. Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. Last seen wandering aimlessly on some far and distant shore. She was so busy attending to this and that, I don't think she even knew where she was at. And she kept trying to handle more and more. Seems she lost all track of what life is for. No, Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. That's why you see those clothes on the floor. She took the kids out to dinner, and then she took some time for herself. I'd like to offer you all something, but there's no food on the shelf. Now, Superwoman used to do it all. She'd work, clean, cook, and shop. She'd finish it all, but then she'd drop. So one day she left without a warning or a cry, without a sermon or a party or a single goodbye. No, Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. The lady here now still minds the store. She gets lots of help. She has time for fun. She does what she can, and she leaves the rest undone. And it's not that the lady doesn't care. She's just content with doing her share. She went to work, earned a promotion, so the dishes aren't done. What's the commotion? She realizes there's not time for everything, so she decides what she can do. Sometimes it's cleaning and cooking and shopping at the mall, and every now and then she seems to do it all. But on a given day, activities regarding the business, the spouse, or the house have to lag. The lady takes care of herself. She doesn't look like a hag. Superwoman was everything to everybody. She attended to all needs but her own. The lady here now used to be a superwoman, but oh, how much she's grown. No, Superwoman doesn't live here anymore. Superwoman doesn't live. Superwoman doesn't live here. No, Superwoman, no.
Amen. Thank you. And I think a lot of us would say amen to that one. I already told you she's the mother of 5, so she knows where she speaks. We're going to end this evening with something very special. We have a young musician, Vitas Reed from Indianapolis. He's a student in communications and TV production, and he's going to share something that he's written. He's also a rapper. And I encourage you to really get into the spirit of this music and get up and dance if you feel like it. So, Vitas, please.
Vitas Reed, I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. Like she said, I'm a student in the communications, another Indiana Hoosier. I'm a student at Indiana University in communications, and came here to the conference trying to gain some knowledge and learn about my brothers and sisters here and what they have to offer to this conglomerate of mass media that we have right on over our heads. In fact, I'm waiting to see, look out a window here and see a satellite go over, and I say, oh, that's the Baha'i satellite. So, what I was going to do for you is maybe a song, a rap. I used to be in a rap group called Fourth Epic back when I was in high school, and I don't know if anybody heard me and my group perform. I know he has. He's probably had to put up with us a few times, and Walter. But I'd like to go ahead and do this for you, and it's called Get Up and Free the World. Okay, all right. We're going to get into a little bit of fun and swing here. A little rhythm and soul. Check this out. Colors of all different races, of many cultures and come from different places, organize the United Nations to bring more peace in this revelation. But madness goes through my mind when I watch the news and read the headlines. Corruption eats at the governments of the world. I can't take this madness. It brings forth sadness in my heart to see all these bad things happening to the people of the world. Instead of peace, they're letting war unfurl. It's time to change, rearrange, and show that all this stuff is insane. About time that we let peace unfurl. So get up and free the world. Get up and free the world. Get up free the world. Get up. Come on, everybody. Just get up and free the world. 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 Everybody just get up and free the world. Now put your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you believe in Teacher Pete, let's have it say, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, now check this out. Hatred, the word is degrading, but when the people's hearts it is raging strongly against their brother, why can't we love one another? Religious wars and everyday things to say they're fighting for God all supreme. Fools, what are they saying? They're just fighting wars in our brain. Hypocrites, that's what they are. They're going out like a dying star. Prejudice, wars, hatred, and greed. These are the things that nobody needs. Treasure base, that's what's starting here. We come together from both far and near. Don't stop me now, I'm on the beat. Give me a spot to go with that drum roll. We're unstoppable, we're unstoppable. We keep going to the world, let's go. Behind striving and surviving for peace, we'll keep driving ahead. Behinds are on the move. Peace is in our hearts, we're in the groove. So remember to let peace through and get up and free the world. Get up and free the world. Get up. Come on, sing it. Free the world. Get up and free the world. Get up and free the world. Get up. Come on and free the world. Get up and free the world. Get up and free the world. Everybody just get up and free the world. Now put your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you have the love of the whole lot, let me hear you sing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right now put your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you're gonna get a Baha'i program, let me hear you sing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you very much.
From something like that, we have a very special entertainer. We have a tape actually that we're going to play just to kind of calm us all down.
It's a complete manifestation of ego. If you ever want to see my baser nature more in control, you'll never see it. Right now. This is a prayer. Blessed is the spot. And it is performed. This is the first time that it is being played in public. It was recorded by my daughter, the Crofts. Do you see? I had to let everybody know. This is my daughter. And she and Christopher Bogan, my sister's son, and Jamie and Naime Heath, my other sister's two children, have formed a recording group, the four of them, in California. And now they're in the process of writing the material for their first album. And the name of the group is Common Ancestry. So this is Blessed is the Spot by Common Ancestry, with a lead vocal by Lua Crofts.
Very well.
I was going to perform it live, but it didn't come through as planned, so I'm
His voice is tracking.
loud.
Loud, loud.
It's gospel.
Blessed is the spot and the house and the place and the city and the heart and the mountain, yeah, and the refuge and the cave and the valley and the land and the sea and the island in the meadow. When I mention God has been made, and His praise and the sea and the island and the meadow. When mention of God has been made, and His praise
Mothers and their daughters.
And their aunts.
And their uncles and their cousins. That's all we have for this evening, folks. It's been wonderful, and thank you all for
I have to
coming.
say one thing for you, go girl.
Do you want to hear it again? Let's hear it again.
Stage mothers. Stage.
Would you love it? We would burn her at the stake. Not the beginning of the tape.
I want to see the video.
What else is on the tape?
Oh, no.
I want to see the video on VH1.
Yeah. What is this going? What is your seat? What is it called? Not playing. It's kind of. Thank you.
and the heart and the mountain, yeah, and the refuge and the cave and the valley and the land and the sea and the island and the meadow, where the mention of God has been made, and His praise and the sea and the island and the meadow, where mention of God has been made, and His
I have just a couple of announcements before you go. There is a small white prayer book sitting right there on that black table under the 3 projectors that we found in our hotel room, and we don't know who it belongs to. So it's one of the Malaysian small white prayer books. If it's yours, there it is. And Corky has an announcement also. Do you have an announcement too? Oh, turn these in. Anybody who has these still, please turn them in to Dennis. To Dennis from Florida. And 1 second, and then we're done.
I'd like to first thank all of the friends who come from near and far to participate in this conference this weekend. Personally, thank you, and on behalf of the community here in Nashville, as one of the members of the local spiritual assembly. And because I'm so lifted by the spirit that I've experienced here, and in tune with the kind of spontaneity that's been going on this weekend, my wife and I would like to invite all of those who will be here for any length of time after the end of the conference tomorrow to come and visit us at our home. Now, this invitation is an invitation to enjoy our space. We're not in a position to feed everyone and to give you a meal and all. However, we can make it a potluck. And if everyone would bring whatever it is that they like to eat, now I'll let you know, we're vegetarians, and we don't allow meat in our home. Yes.
He's just so flexible.
Yes. Now, you can bring meat and eat it out on the lawn, but there won't be any cooking of it in the house. What I'm saying is, please come. We have 5 acres of land northwest of town. It's not rural, but it's semi-rural. There's lots of trees and grass, and we have a garden. Those who like to dig around in the garden or just kind of be there and watch the stuff grow. And there's chickens out there, and we have a dog and cats and stuff.
Why are there chickens?
Why are there chickens? Well, because chickens lay eggs, and also chickens eat the ticks. That's why we have chickens.
What do you do with the chickens when they get old?
We pass them on to, those who do eat chickens.
Well.
But it is an invitation to come, and I'll make directions available. And anyone who would like to do that, please let me know this evening so we can get an idea of how many will be coming.
Thank you very much.